Good evening, everyone, and welcome back after a week break. The season break is finally over, and we're back for another race in FQ. And this week we are in Portugal, the Portimao circuit, loved by many for its fast corners and a lot of elevation change. And with me to take you through the start of the second half of the FQ season is the Flying Finn, Finexi. How are you?
Hello, mate. I'm good. What about yourself?
I am great. Looking forward to another 8 races of incredible Div 2 action. I tell you what, all I want for the last 8 rounds of the season is that they are as good as the first 8 because we've been treated to some incredible action by these guys over the season so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have seen some incredible races, many last lap finishes, and everything in between. And Portimao definitely a track that can provide this, and hopefully will.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's there's a lot of elevation change. One of the most on the calendar. It's almost like a roller coaster when you're actually driving it. The way that you drop down and rise back up again through corners and but there's also that really long DRS straight, and it's
Ahoy!
bucketing it down
That
for qualifying.
that is absolutely raining it down.
That is full wet weather
Absolutely, that is
for our
full wet
drivers to
weather.
contend with. We don't see much rain in Div 2. It's usually a Div 1 thing, but we've got it today, at least in qualifying. We don't know the forecast for the race in the commentary box, but we do know that right now it's a monsoon in Portimao.
Yeah, absolutely. And this now throws a wrench into everyone's works, into everyone's wheels. Who has the wet setup ready? Who will go for the wet setup if the race is dry? Do you go
Yeah.
for a wet setup or a dry setup?
Well, everyone's on an intermediate, so it looks like it's not going to be full wet. So I think most people will go for the dry if it's dry for the race. As we've got Big Boris first man out on track.
Yeah.
Because usually intermediates isn't too bad in terms of you can make it work on a dry setup, especially because this track is a high downforce anyway. It shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Obviously the high downforce. You can go for a lower downforce setup due to that long straight, but in the wets, it's a no-brainer to go for a high downforce setup. And as you say, intermediates. Although it looks very, very wet out there, and we obviously don't know if it's going to be getting lighter or heavier throughout the session, but as it looks, it doesn't look to be stopping right now.
I'm honestly surprised it's Inters now because the rain is really heavy and the track looks really
Yes.
wet, but everyone seems to be coming out on intermediates, so that's clearly what the tyre of choice is for everyone. We're going to watch the Mercedes of Big Boris trying to negotiate his way around the outlap before he starts what will be the first time lap of the session.
Yeah, obviously looking very, very tricky out there, and I think it's very, very slightly, like just about intermediate weather compared to the wet weather, and many people are going out. That might suggest that the raid might be getting heavier throughout the session, but as you say, the first time lap of the session will be the Mercedes of Big Boris.
It will, and there is a spin actually at turn 1 that looks like the McLaren of Lance has gone round exiting the pit lane, but he has got going again just in time for Boris to come through the first corner, which is good. Yellow flag's cleared. Taking it quite safe. I imagine we'll see drivers with quite a bit of fuel on board and doing multiple push laps just to get a handle on the conditions, and then maybe pitting around midway through the session. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
many laps in the rain, obviously the way to go. The way to go in a rainy session. We have another debutant in a Ferrari, Fiat Phoenix, making his first race here today. Last week, a Ferrari debutant won the race quite easily. Let's see if he can live up to that.
Yeah, the
As, yeah.
debutant seems to have quite a good record here. Remember, of course, Ez, who isn't racing today, he did really well in his first race. Timo, of course, last week doing really well on his debut. So with Feed coming in the Ferrari, doing an Ollie Bearman, so to speak, we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see these first lap times. It is the rain, so you generally expect the lap times to be a bit further apart than you do in the dry, because not everyone is... Oh dear, oh dear.
Invalidated at the last corner. That is gutting for Big Boris. He will not set a lap. And he draws blank, unfortunately, for now, as Quad End will be the next man across the line. He's also invalidated, so we're seeing a bit of a theme, as now it's
Spider-Man,
Nick.
I think. Or Nick, yeah.
Nick hasn't invalidated, so this might very well be the first race. He goes really wide through there. Does he keep it on the track? He does. This will be the first lap for the Alpine driver.
Yep.
And it is...
Spider-Man right behind him.
Yep, 28.5. Completely
28.4.
smashed by 28.4 for the Alfa Romeo man. So we've seen some quite competitive times. And Ange Hamid just pipping Spazzaman there. So these are quite close. And AJ as well. This is good stuff. The top three, top four separated by less than a tenth after the first round of lap. Well, the first 4 people set laps.
Harrison
so
crossing the line next. We'll see where he puts his Ferrari within. Wow, I said there might be a bigger difference in lap times as feed.
There's the debutant, 28.1, provisional pole. Good lap.
But that is incredible. 2nd to 6th, covered by just over a tenth of a second. That is very, very nice indeed. It's going to be Lance crossing the line next. Only 7th fastest, 28.7.
Maybe taking a little bit longer to warm up to these conditions, Lance, or possibly running a lower downforce setup for the race. We don't know. We can only speculate, of course. I'm now currently on board with Stevie, who's started a lap. I thought, it was a bit of a mess of loads of people flicking between people doing laps. I thought I'd just concentrate on one, so it's less confusing.
I can give you the rundown for the others. The Quad End goes 8th fastest with a 28.7.
Yeah, Quad, another person who I don't think did he score in the last round? I can't remember. No, so he's still yet to score points. Hopefully today will be that day.
Yeah, Spazzaman with a 2nd consecutive lap now goes up to 2nd with 28.2. So it is still very close, as Skip is now rounding the final corner.
Stevie briefly purple in the middle sector there on the mini-map, but I'm not quite sure if that is 100%
Skip only
accurate.
10th fastest.
Skip only 10th, yeah. Again, although that is his first lap, obviously a couple of people have set 2. So we can't read into that too much, see what he's got on the next flyer.
Yep.
So we have Stevie coming around the final corner. It's the cleanest final corner I've seen so far, certainly a lot cleaner than his teammate. As he comes to the line, let's see where this puts him. Only P10. It looked like a clean lap too. A couple of people taking a while to adjust to these intermediate conditions. But really close at the moment, really close. Probably the closest we've seen it at this stage of qualifying this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like those first runs are a little bit worse for wear, as Big Boris goes 14th fastest with 30.0. But those first runs definitely people struggling on them, and the second runs proving very, very good indeed for a lot of people.
Yeah, a couple of people put in after their first lap. Actually, 4 of the top 5 doing that, opting to go straight for a new set of inters, so that's interesting.
Quad and just starting another push lap, I believe.
Oh, I'm on board with Golf, and he had a massive snap going through the final corner. He's going to set this, it's going to count, but it's not going to be a particularly great lap from him, 29.6, and then Simi goes 10th with a 28.7. So decent for Simi, scrapes into the top 10, and
Harrison 8 tenths up at the moment. 8 tenths up. Harrison looking to absolutely smash the fastest time, and he
Harrison, nice.
By 6 tenths of a 7 tenths of a second.
Ferrari 1-2 as it stands. Yeah. Who else do we have? Rob. We have Rob coming around the final corner. There's 8 seconds down. He's coming to the pits. Kaz goes P1 with a 27.1 there. The track's getting a lot faster.
Yes.
You can see the dry line now on board with Lance. Although he's not going to go faster on that occasion either. Quad End is up by 2/10 on his previous best. And a 2/10 improvement with this field spread would really improve your position. 5 tenths up now, so this is looking really good for Quad. He might even get towards the likes of the top 5 here, AJ and Spazzaman.
Yeah, definitely a lap into the 127s right now would put you in a very comfortable spot, I would say, for right now in qualifying, but we will get non-stop action because of this rain now on track. Everyone's seeing that it's improving. Quad end now into the... Wow!
Nice.
27.
P3 for quad, that's a good lap and just shows how much the track is improving, that dry line, giving the drivers more and more confidence, more and more grip, as we have a previous provisional pole setter feed on an out lap. So we're going to see this group of 4 that pitted up for new inters, see what they've got, the likes of Feed, Spazza, who?
Nick.
I've gone, we'll watch Nick because he's on a flyer as well. He was one of the people that pitted, I believe, for new tyres. Once again, the Alpines expecting more from themselves, I imagine. That's been the story of their season, really. You know, a lot of potential, but not always delivered on that potential.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll want to make
a bulletin point board of things we talk about a lot during this season, I think.
Yeah, but it was one of the main talking points. I mean, you've got to remember Nick coming into this season was one of the favourites for the title among many people. You know, a lot of people tipped him to be the main challenger, and it hasn't turned out. Just through bad luck, but also a little bit of lack of consistency too.
Yeah, obviously in the preseason race they were 1-2 in qualifying as Nick crosses the line to go second fastest, just about behind Kaz. That is very, very close indeed.
Yeah.
Is up, Lance is up. No, he just finished lap actually. Slower than Quadrant. Quadrant is cooking.
Quad end is cooking. Golf goes P5, and these times staying close. Feed is now 1.2 seconds up though, coming round the final sector. This could be a pretty stonking lap from the Ferrari driver if he can hold this advantage through the final sector. Running right out to the white line on the exit of the penultimate corner, and it comes to the line. What's it going to be? P1 26.5, 6/10 faster than Kaz. That is a statement and a half.
Yeah, track improving by a lot right now, and it's very, very clear. It's probably not going to be slicks at the end of the session, but it's definitely going to be faster and faster. I wouldn't be surprised if pole time was in the 125s.
Yeah, it was 28s to start with, 28.4s for the first lap, so now down to 26.5, so 2 seconds faster in only about 10 minutes of running. So that's just how fast this track has gripped up. And Hamid up by 1.2 now going into the final sector. This will put him right at the sharp end if he can keep it up.
Yeah, if he can just hold it together through this final sector. It's still tricky out there. It's absolutely still tricky out there. And as you can see, the grip not quite there for the McLaren driver as he rounds the final corner. Now it's going to be flat to the floor, even in this condition. He might get a bit of a toe, not quite, from the Red Bull as he comes to the line now. It's going to be a 26.5.
That lap time from Feed not looking as comfortable as it was about 5 seconds ago with that lap time. So great stuff from Ange, taking the initiative of the McLaren boys so far today, which is good to see.
Yep,
AJ the next man into the 26s. Yes. Third. Good stuff. Rob's improving as well. A lot of improvement going on. I think pretty much everyone who's on the lap is improving now. The track is just that much better, as Rob's 1.5 seconds up. He is on for a 27 flat, depending on what he does in the final sector.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work on getting Crane.
Yep. I'll see what happens with Rob as he comes across the line. Currently sitting P12. Where's he going to be? P2. It was a great last sector, and he's 2 milliseconds off the provisional pole time. That is gutting for him. I imagine he probably knows exactly where he could have gained that, but what a lap. P2 for the Red Bull man. Skip has now pulled himself up to P4. Interestingly, championship leader is still in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Simi's up as well. Simi's 1.3 up going into the final sector.
Yep. Needs to hold this together, the Mercedes man. And looks like he will quite nicely, as long as he doesn't invalidate in this final corner right here. Doesn't look like he will. And now it's a short run up the line. It's uphill. Where can Simi put his Mercedes? Goes fifth fastest.
It's gonna be a case like it always is in these rain affected quali sessions. The last person to set a lap will be fastest, and it is 26.2 for Harrison, who proves that theory. The track is not going to stop improving. Are we going to see softs? Because we know this game can be a bit odd when it comes to the track can still look wet, but softs can still be quite fast.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a question of your ball size, basically. How much are you willing to risk to go onto those soft compound tires? I would assume that people like Bazaman, Rad Sorg, the ones in the bottom 10 might even try it out. Lance has gone out on the inters, that makes sense for him, and Rob, fastest of anyone.
I tell you what, I was on board with Rob then. He had no ERS left, and it's an incredible effort considering to go provisional pole with 0% on his ERS. And that must have been a really nice lap from Rob. He goes provisional pole. Monitor the times now coming through the final sector. There is so much going on, it's difficult to keep up with everyone, so sorry if we miss anything. If anyone watching has a favourite and we miss them setting a lap, I apologise. It's just we can only watch one person at a time on the stream. Stevie's down. Anshan Mead's coming to the line. He must be improving because he's going to finish the lap. He goes P3. Now the person we need to watch is the man who's about to start a lap now, and that is our championship leader down in 14th place. He will be needing an improvement.
Yeah. Absolutely lost down in 14th place. But I'm still trying to work on crane, so my brain is not braining right now. So
that is absolutely fine. As Spazerman, as you said, you predicted it correctly, 25.5. So that's 3 seconds now. The track has improved since the start of qualifying, and he takes provisional pole. So currently on board with Lance. Ferrari in the way slightly. Don't think that's going to affect him. Bit of a snap through the tricky turn 4.
Yep.
And he's 5 tenths up in the first sector.
Not going to be quite enough as it stands, but I'm sure there's a lot of time for Lance to gain in this second or third sector. But now he needs to keep it together. It's going to be a twisty sector 2 where anything can go wrong, and it's known for very little grip, especially this corner, this uphill right-hander. Golf goes second fastest with 25.9, and Lance has seemingly kept it together quite nicely. I would assume he's finding a lot of time in every single corner right now. We'll see his split time at the sector 2 point. It's 8 tenths up. It doesn't look like
he's only going on a 27 flat if he carries on with this improvement. So that would only put him 13th. So it may be, I mean, he hasn't used much ERS. He probably will do another lap because he's on 73%.
This looks like, yeah, he might have been. Oh, this a very slow exit out of the final corner. Is that just me?
I'm not sure. He's only P13 for now, but now he's deploying all of his energy. So this is probably going to be the representative lap for Lance, as we're going to get a lot of people on outlaps now, getting ready to do their final runs. People who are quick. Feed, Skip, Simi, Kaz, Nick and Rab, all, and Harrison and Rob, all on new tyres and going for a final run. And they've got 50 seconds to make it to the line. Lance is two tenths up now.
Yeah. Quad end purple in the first sector.
Quad end purple in the first sector is a lovely statement.
Bazaman won't set another lap. Our provisional pole sitter is out of qualifying. He's still into the pit, so now it's the time that the times start falling very, very quickly, and we'll see what the order is at the end of qualifying. I am very excited.
Yeah, it's all about the track improvement, and Lance is half a second up on his previous best, which still isn't enough. And who was that who jumped up? That was Stevie, wasn't it? No?
Yep.
It was AJ? AJ, yeah.
Yep.
So Spazman will not set another time. Stevie and Rob will not set another time. Simi and All Day will not set another time along the swamp mouth. Following Lance to the line now. This has to be a good lap. This is his final chance. It is! He's done it at the death. P2 for Lance. and he's possibly saved what could have been a disastrous qualifying session. We've got to look back
another
now.
man who needs to improve, Nick Fuhrman down in P15.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier, and he's only 8 milliseconds up going through Sector 1.
He must have had a snap somewhere in this Sector 2 or Sector 3. He must have a lot of time here. It's not like Nick to be down that low. 5/10 up now won't lift him up too high, but maybe with Lance, he'll have a lot of time in this final sector to find with a lot more grip. We've seen Nick on pole. Could
Skip
he
P1.
extract a lap and
Kaz P1.
Kaz goes P1.
Oh, that's incredible stuff. 24.8. What a lap.
Could Nick extract the lap here? That would be an absolute god of a lap. It doesn't look like it. Only 10th fastest for Nick Fuhrman. Alpine 8 and 10th. Harrison is 5/10 up still.
Harrison up. P3.
And that's qualifying.
That is done unless AJ's invalidated, so he will not improve. Unfortunately for him, that was exciting. Loads of people in the run-in, right till the death. We thought that maybe Spazzaman, that lap was unbeatable, but Kaz smashed it. The only man in the 24s, he's got to be happy with that. As that is your final order for qualifying. It is Kaz once again on pole position in the Aston Martin, 3/10 ahead of Skip in P2. Then it is Harrison rounding out the top 3 for the Ferrari. Great quality from all 3 of them. And then it's Spazzaman Feed, a great 5th place on debut. Lance, championship leader with a bit to make up. AJ, Golf, Stevie and Rob rounding out the top 10. Disappointing from Nick, P11. Rab, Ange, Simi, Quad, All Day, Boris and Swamp Mouth rounds off the grid. But
yeah, it's been a like it's happened before in the season where Lance has the better race pace than qualifying. He started from lower down on the grid multiple times and just made up those places on lap 1.
Yeah,
so,
he's definitely more of a racer than a quali merchant, and it is going to be dry for the race. So
wow.
Clearly, Lance not finding the confidence on board. He looked a little bit underconfident. He didn't want to push too much. There wasn't many snaps going on, but that usually means that they're not comfortable in pushing the limits. So hopefully, in the race, we'll see him battling right at the sharp end as he usually does.
Yeah, absolutely. From my insider knowledge, the second McLaren of Ange Hamid had some sort of fuel problems during that qualifying, so maybe a little bit too much fuel.
Very possibly, or too little.
The McLaren, yes.
Yeah, as we wait for the grid to form. Formation lap is, of course, on. It was for the last race. Yeah,
it is now, I think, as well.
It was for the last race, so we will get a rundown of tyres before the start. We can take you through what everyone's deciding. Because it's a 35% race, I'd be very surprised to see anyone touch the harder compound, the white walled hard compound. I imagine it will mostly be mediums and softs. What is your take on the strategy? What do you think will be the most popular?
I think, we've seen a lot of strategy deviation in this division specifically, at least, the races we've been watching. But obviously the medium soft seems to be the ideal strategy. But in this division, you never know. You could get held up behind someone and want to go that bit longer. So maybe someone on the hards. That's going to be my prediction, that there's going to be at least one person starting on the hard compound tire.
Yeah, I mean, someone maybe who qualified not as well as they think they should have done and wants to gamble on maybe going long and waiting for a safety car. Someone like Nick maybe could be the perfect person to do that. I would be surprised to see anyone in the top 5 go for it. But like I said, people who underperformed could very well try and mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting, definitely, to see what the strategy is and what the setups are now. Especially, I think Kaz has a wet setup on. He said this was gonna be a wet race, so you never know. Maybe there will be some rain to come throughout the session as we now get the formation lap underway.
We do indeed.
And no one on hards.
Yeah, there we go. There are the tyres on screen now. It is everyone in the top 7 on the medium compound, and we've got Golf on the softs, then Stevie, Rob and Nick on the mediums. And then from 12th down to 16th, we have softs, Boris mediums, and then Swampmouth on soft. So, like I said, mainly mediums. People going for the medium soft. There are a couple of people, the likes of Golf, maybe one in that extra grip at the start, make up a few places and gain that all-important track position.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Kaz was indeed running a wet setup, as we think, then that pole position might be a little bit more explainable that way. But we'll see how he fares in the race. He's obviously going to have Skip, Harrison, Spazzaman, everyone behind him wanting this win, and Lance as well coming through with AJ. It's definitely going to be an interesting race, and again, if you asked me, I could not pick you a winner.
As ever, we cannot predict Div 2. It is incredible racing, so many people with so much pace, and it genuinely does come down to who just makes a better fist of it on the day, and which is good for us. It keeps it interesting. It keeps it interesting for you guys at home watching, which is what we like. We want to bring you an enjoyable race more than anything. That's our job, and these Div 2 guys definitely deliver on that. As we see Kaz now backing up the field. He doesn't want to sit on the grid too long with his tyres getting cold, so he's backing everyone up. He did go quite quick at the start. He's now making sure that everyone is line astern behind.
Yep, McLaren maybe playing some team games with Ange backing the pack up a little bit behind everyone else. As yes, we are getting to the grid all nice. No one colliding with anyone, which is always good to see.
Got to watch out for T1. It is quite fast, and there is a huge funneling effect as this starting straight is very wide. So hopefully the drivers can keep it clean. Harrison,
I'll tell you what,
and AJ out of position.
Skip has angled his car very, very much towards Kaz, and Kaz has angled his car very much towards Skip. So this will be a very, very aggressive start.
Yeah, they're going really aggressive, and we are going to get the lights very soon. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Portuguese Grand Prix in Division 2, and the lights are out and away we go. It looks like a pretty even start from the top two, but Skip's going to draw alongside, slightly alongside the Aston Martin of Kaz down the inside, and almost contact as Kaz takes to the runoff. He retakes the lead off the track. I don't think we'll hear any more of that. And now Harrison is having a look at Skip, and Skip's going to lose a place. So in trying to go for the lead, he's actually lost. And now Spazzaman as well is going to go for a move on Skip. So this is a disastrous start for Skip and Lance, both our championship antagonists, dropping places. As Stevie and Feed are now also wheel to wheel, with Stevie having to back out of that one. But shocking start for Lance too, down from 6th to 8th.
Yeah, shocking start also for Nick. I think he was spun around in that turn 1. So I think it was mostly clean, but Nick had a problem there with someone. I didn't quite catch it, but he was around in turn 1. Kaz still leads by about 7/10 to Harrison, and a pretty good start from Kaz.
Yeah, great start from Kaz, using the alleged extra downforce of the wet setup to his advantage, and he's pulling a gap here on Harrison quite quickly, almost a second already. Obviously, in real life now in F1, DRS is available lap 2. It's not the case here. It's still lap 3, as this is last year's game, of course. So we will wait one more lap before the guys behind can get the rear wing open. But look at the 3 wide into turn 1 there. I saw that in the background, and there's contact. That is Spazzaman and Feed around. The Spazzaman and Feed are around. That promotes Stevie up to P4. That's a horrible turn 1 collision. We were expecting something there on the first lap. It came on the second lap, and they dropped down to the back of the grid. Shame for both of those guys.
Absolute shame for both of them. But I'll tell you what, the man with the undisputed best start in this race so far, Simi, up to P8. 6
places gained. Also all day as well, 5 places gained. Up into P11. So those two, bit of a lightning start for them. Obviously gaining from the collision at turn 1 between Feed and Spazzaman, but still, not to take anything away from them. It has been great. And Stevie, of course, as well, up into P4.
Yeah, Harrison now working to keep within that DRS of Kaz, obviously very, very important, as if Kaz is running a higher downforce, you need the DRS on the straight to keep up with the Aston Martin. So Harrison has dropped Skip out of the DRS, so maybe a little bit of struggling for the Williams driver early on.
This is where we are going to get an indication of what the setups are like, and
straight line speed from Harrison.
Clearly the Aston Martin running quite a bit more drag. And another thing we've got to look out for on this track as well is track limits. There's so many places where you can very easily just go slightly over that white line and get yourself 3 warnings and in turn a penalty. So that's something to watch out for too as the race develops.
Yeah, absolutely. Track limits haven't been a huge issue so far this season.
Simi having a look, at golf, and he almost gets the move done, but he does think better of it in the end. Golf shut in the door. So Simi going on the attack on those soft tyres to start with. Good to see.
Very, very wise from Simi there to live and fight for another 20 laps instead of having a useless collision. And we talked about a higher downforce for Kaz, but Harrison is keeping up here.
I tell you what, Harrison's looking racy today. He's looking really good, and he's going to get DRS down this long back straight. They have gapped Skip, which is something that we never say usually. Skip is always one of the fastest on track, but they've gapped him. Can't put it any other way. 2 seconds the top two have pulled, and look at the straight line speed for the Ferrari. Here he comes. I don't think there's going to be any point defending if you are Kaz, and he's got it done well before the braking zone. So a good move up into P1 for Harrison from 3rd on the grid, and he could not have hoped for a much better start. And as Lance as well, crucial points gaining for him as he moves up into the top 5.
But that move from Harrison on the Kaz, now it's going to be very, very difficult for Kaz to ever look for a move back, because that straight line speed on that Ferrari is just a little too much for the Aston Martin to handle. But maybe we'll see a move in the middle section.
Simi is down the inside of Golf, and they've left each other enough room, and I think he might get it done here, but a good traction out of the hairpin for Golf means that he's going to have the inside line for the next corner, and he does hold it. Simi has a look, but he'd be very brave to try and move there, and they stay line astern. This is costing them time. They need to be careful they don't drop out that second of AJ.
At the top, I must say, Harrison and Kaz driving absolutely brilliantly to be 3 seconds up the road from Skip already. Maybe Skip has some damage we don't know about, but Harrison and Kaz absolutely dominating this race right now.
I think these guys are just quick, because look, Skip's gapped Stevie too. So I think it is just the fact that these two are driving impeccably well, and he's really close now. Kaz, he's had a great lap. He's only 2/10. And even with his straight line speed, the slipstream DRS so powerful, he's probably going to get the move done here down, and he gets it done not as comfortably as he probably would have liked, but
Harrison's going. Harrison could have kept his foot in there and gone for a move, but he thinks better of it and tries to do it on this DRS straight instead, which he might just have the straight line speed to do, but doesn't deploy any battery. Kaz is defending it, but that's bit useless right now. They're very close to 2 leaders.
Swampmouth is out, retirement in the pit lane. Yeah, Harrison getting really close. These two, I think they're just so evenly matched, even though they are running quite different setups. They are getting the most out of each of them respectively, and this is really good to watch. 2 incredible drivers going at it at such a high level of their own game, and it makes it entertaining for us. 3 seconds now is the gap in the 5 laps. That is an incredible effort from the pair of them to pull that kind of gap on one of the fastest drivers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely impressive from the 2 leaders right now. We know they have the pace, but Kaz, obviously, now that I mention it, Kaz is in the championship fight still, in the championship hunt, and needs a few good performances. And if he keeps performing like this, if he wins this race, he'll be in serious discussions.
Yeah, he's had an incredible couple races towards the end of the first half of the season. He was on fire, and it doesn't look like he's going to end anytime soon. He's carried that momentum as Anchemida's passed Simi for P9 down towards the back, and that is a move for the lead, of course, for Harrison now, as we caught that on stream. So these two swapping and changing. The straight line speed of that Ferrari just kind of undeniable at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and but you can see also the traction that Kaz is getting out of these corners, even in the dirty air. Kaz is doing very well to keep up with the Ferrari, and on the straights, as you say, yes, that's a little wide from home.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kaz looking really strong this middle sector, and then he loses it all with the high downforce still down the straight. But you have to say, out of the two, it does look like when Kaz gets behind Harrison, it looks like he's being held up a lot more. But he just can't do anything about the Ferrari in the straight line. When the Ferrari gets the rear wing open, there's absolutely nothing Kaz can do.
But at this point, I don't think there's a lot Kaz wants to do. I think he's content with just swapping places. They are still faster than Skip. So at this moment, I think both drivers just wanting to use each other to get in front and then fight for the position later on in the Grand Prix.
Here comes Kaz again then for the lead. This is going to be another lead change. And I think actually Harrison very kindly let it go, braking quite early. And Kaz back into the lead of the race. So these guys swapping and changing all the time for the lead. And still, despite their battling, pulling away from this man, Skip, who's in a very lonely third place right now.
Yeah, he's having a very lonely race at the moment with Stevie and Lance behind him. Crucially, for the championship, it's Lance just one car in between them right now, but that car is Stevie, and he knows Stevie is a fast racer in that Alpine car. And there is a bit of a DRS drain forming from Stevie down to Rob and almost to Ange and Simi.
Speaking of Alpine, Nick and Quad in a battle of their own down for 12th place, with Quad coming out second best on that time, but Nick not making the impression we expected from 11th on the grid. He's actually stayed in that P11 spot.
Yeah, he had that spin in turn 1 obviously, so he has been working back ever since, but yeah, not quite at the pace we may have expected him to do that. But this DRS train is almost from 4th to 12th at the moment, just a few tenths.
Right, I think we're going to get two moves here at least. We've got Harrison for the lead, and then we've also got Lance on Stevie.
Lance, very close, yeah.
First of all, move for the lead done. Harrison back past. Swap into Lance. The red light on the back of that Alpine flashing. Stevie has used all he can now to try and defend. He's got nothing left. That's going to encourage Lance a little bit more on this next lap to maybe deploy a little bit and get past.
Yeah, but if you look, then Lance doesn't have too much ERS either, as he has a little bit of a snap coming out of turn 4. He doesn't have a lot of ERS to work with himself, and I'm sure he would like to use that ERS on Skip, the car ahead, instead of Stevie right now, as Skip is just chilling and retaining his battery.
It does look like Lance is quicker, and I think AJ too. A bit of a train forming behind Stevie now. These two look faster than him, so they'll be wanting to clear him as quick as possible and hunt after Skip for the final podium place. He's only 3 seconds ahead as well, Skip, so the quicker they get it done, they've still got a long time to reel him in.
Yeah, absolutely, and put Discord link in the chat there, someone asked for it. But anyway, as Kaz now looking to make the move again for the lead.
Yeah, you see the DRS not as powerful on the Aston Martin, but it is powerful enough, and he goes back past again. So every lap it seems like that DRS is so powerful.
Lance has passed.
And Lance has passed. He has deployed all of his DRS to get past there, but I think he had to because he was being held up too much. And now he will set off after his main championship rival, Skip.
Or Stevie will go back past him. Stevie's very close to turn 4 here.
Bit of a snap from Stevie might render that attack useless, but he is gaining now. He's got the DRS open, but look at AJ down the inside. What a move! Almost hits the back of the McLaren and has to get out of it. But that was almost a beautiful dive bomb there from AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would have been something else. So yeah, the battle for the lead. Skip is now gaining on the top 2, so maybe using his tires a little bit less during the first 2 laps, and now he's gained half a tenth.
Yeah, all three of the top 3 have roughly 50% of their batteries left, so they've got quite a bit to use. They're not abusing it like the guys behind who are battling are, like the likes of Lance, Stevie and AJ. So they've got that in hand as well. Here we go, here's Harrison. Now we're going to get a massive representation about the straight line speed of this Ferrari. He's deploying, he's got slipstream, he's got DRS. He was 7 tenths back at the start of the straight. He's going to pull alongside and ahead of the Aston Martin, but he does go deep, and the switchback has been completed by Kaz, and he retakes the lead.
Great racing by the 2 of them, and I'm sure a lot of respect on track with these 2 right now.
Oh my word! I caught that on stream.
Is AJ around? Yeah.
AJ's round. Yeah, AJ spun
Yeah.
it, and I caught on stream just before that
Golf.
Nick getting past Simi and then almost binning it turn 1-2. Was that a
Yep.
collision with Golf, was it?
AJ and Golf have dropped places here, so I am inclined to believe that there was a collision there. And very, very unfortunate for AJ.
That is a huge shame because they were doing really well, but Skip now bringing that gap down to the top 2 seconds. He's found pace.
Yep. Yeah, he's found pace, and I think he was nursing those tires to start off with, and now he's going hammer time. So now we see the true pace of Skip, and I'm very, very excited. This will turn into a 3-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, speaking of gaps, Lance has also pulled straight out ahead of Stevie by a second, so he's not messing around. He wants to show us his pace and maybe try and get in that fight for the win, but he's dropped now 3 seconds behind Skip, so he's going to need a really good final stint. And Harrison now back past Kaz again.
Yeah. Do you reckon Skip saw Lance behind him and said it was time to go?
Very possibly, yeah. Very possibly.
As Simi and Golf goes into the pit lane now.
Yep, Simi and Golf in a quad end past AJ. I'm not sure if AJ has damage after the coming together with Golf. Quad end is the first person to pick up the dreaded 3-second penalty for track limits. Currently sitting P9, but obviously 2 people did pit from ahead of him, so AJ having a look down the inside, and I tell you what, quad end's been very generous, but they still make contact there somehow, despite quad end giving a lot of room, and luckily AJ doesn't spin again.
Yep. And now the DRS train is basically broken, all of them. The only DRS right now we have is AJ on quad and Feed on Svezaman behind. So
and of course the 2 leaders.
Lead, yes. All day picks up a 3-second time penalty himself, and yeah.
Cut back to the leaders. These guys inseparable. Is one of them going to pit? Is one of them going to pull the trigger? They are. It's Kaz. Decides not to use the DRS and pits from second place. Skip will take that position. And let's see what the others do. We've got Stevie in, Rob in, Ange is in, Nick decides to stay out, Quad decides to stay out, AJ stays out, Spazerman stays out, Feed stays out. So 4 people in on this lap.
Yep. And now
a lot of the big hitters as well.
Yeah. And now it's all on to Harrison to have the best outlap of his life to stay ahead, and Kaz has clean air as well, so this could be another change for the lead here. And I'm surprised Lance hasn't gone into the pit lane, and the McLaren's actually giving Ange the first stop.
Feed is the next victim, so these penalties coming in thick and fast now. The track limit's starting to catch people out a little bit. That's 3 people in the last lap that have received their 3rd track limits warning. Of course, you are allowed 2 track limits violations, and then the 3rd will get you that penalty. Just like real life, but I think it's a little bit more harsh here than it is in real life. But oh well.
Just like real life, but not quite. Harrison then, you would expect him to come into the pits at the end of the lap, as he does. What about Skip?
Skip does too, and I think Lance will follow them in. So we're going to get the rest of the leaders pit now. I think the undercut will be quite strong on those softs. We will go on board with Kaz, and we'll see where they are in relation to the guys who've just pitted.
Nick stays out. He's hoping for a safety car, I would guess, at this point of the race.
That doesn't surprise me after the shocker of a race he's had so far.
Yep. Kaz now coming down the main straight.
And he does have DRS, and that is Harrison leaving the pit lane. This could be quite close. Look at the gap. They're still not separated, but it is Kaz who takes the lead. The undercut has worked brilliantly, and it's already a 2nd.
Yeah, as Stevie making the move. Oh my god, that's scary. Stevie just made it 3 wide between himself, Boris, and Lance for a moment there.
Boris wide, Lance takes 6th, but Lance would not want to find himself stuck behind Stevie again. That is not what he would have wanted, but that's just how powerful the undercut was. You got to remember, Kaz was behind Harrison when he pitted. He's now 1.5 ahead. However, Harrison will have a lap fresher tyre at the end of the race. We know Deg can be quite high here, so we will see what that shakes out to be like for Harrison and Kaz.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaz now purple in the middle sector, and Nick should be pitting this lap, I would assume.
Yeah, he's either going to pit or he's going to really, really commit to staying out. But honestly, I don't think there's going to be a safety car in this race, and he does pit, so he will be victim to quite a powerful undercut now after not pitting. Kaz sets fastest lap of the race, 18.5. So he's maybe showing that he has the pace once he pulls out of that DRS to stay ahead of Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said earlier on that the higher downforce setup will help Kaz if he gets out of that DRS range.
Quad end going for a move now on AJ, these two battling away. DRS wide open for the Red Bull, and he goes past the AlphaTauri. But I tell you what, AJ had a look there to try and retake the place, and they make contact. So AJ once again making contact with someone, and they make contact again through turn 3. AJ's not letting this one go, and I think he will. Oh, he has a snap, and I think he will have a go down into the hairpin. The red light on the back of the Red Bull flashing. He's going to go down the inside, late braking, the softs giving him superior grip, and he gets past the Red Bull of quad end. But definitely no shortage of paint traded between those two.
Yeah, absolutely not. And the gap down to 1.1 now at the front, and I have to say I think Harrison will be within DRS off this straight, considering the straight line speed we've seen from that Ferrari all race long. So we will have to see if he has the DRS going into that back straight then, but
looking back,
he's gaining.
Looking back, sorry, we've got Rob, I've just noticed, on hard tyres, and Cindy and Golf going side by side right now. We're following this in, and I tell you what, I don't know what's happened to Rob there, but he's had a snap, and they're now 3 wide. Oh, Rob's pitting, so he must have, yeah, he must have pitted early and gone onto the hards. He's now pitting, and Golf fends off Simi for now.
Simi looking lazy out there.
Absolutely, yeah, he's currently holding down a really good top 10 points paying position.
And Harrison is within DRS.
Yeah, Harrison now 6/10. He's looking really fast.
And I'll tell you what, if Harrison was lifting in the first stint to let Kaz pass, I have a feeling he won't be doing that this time.
No, absolutely not. He will want it, with this pace he's showing, he will want to get ahead and stay ahead and pull away. But I'm sure that he might use a couple of laps to just recoup his ERS in the DRS, as Rabzog now gets the track limits penalty. Just currently on board with Lance. He is all over the back of Stevie. He's going to have to make this pass again, but it looks like he's going to be close enough that he's going to be able to get past quite easily with the DRS.
Yep, 7/10 of a gap at the start of the straight, but we know that Ferrari very, very quick in a straight line as Kaz goes all the way to the right, but Harrison not looking to make a move quite yet.
But not deploying, I don't think, there. Harrison, he's content to stick behind in the DRS for now. But I tell you who is making a move, it's Lance, and they're going to go wheel to wheel. They are neck and neck through the first corner, and they leave each other racing room, and they're still side by side. As down the inside line turns to the outside for Lance, and then he might be able to get the better exit. He gets another dose of that ERS, both of them out of ERS. Down into the hairpin, they're still wheel to wheel. Inside will turn to outside again for Lance. I'll tell you what, Stevie's got a great exit, and he keeps that position, holding the championship leader back really well.
Very, very nice racing between the two of them. And yeah, it's very much looking like Lance will have to settle for a P4 at maximum here. It's another one of those days for Lance where his qualifying pace let him down.
Yeah, but he also didn't really make a dent in... Ooh, Simi going wide and almost letting Nick through there. He didn't really make a dent into Skip when he did get past Stevie in the first stint though, so maybe just not a track that Lance is particularly strong.
Harrison going for the lead now, around the outside, and will make it easily before the braking zone will be ahead. That Ferrari is giving me vibes of 2019 Ferrari, by the way, it's moving on this straight.
Tell you what, I think Stevie is running very low downforce here because Lance was not that far behind and he did not get alongside the Alpine.
Yeah, Nick now passed Simi as well into turn 1.
And we've got Spazman all over the back of AJ. Spazman trying to get himself back into the points after that contact with Feed. of course, on the second lap in the first turn, trying to get himself a couple of points so he doesn't go completely scoreless in this round after that unfortunate collision.
Yep.
I tell you what, Lance is so much faster than Stevie through this middle sector. He just cannot seem to get past.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same can be said for Kaz and Harrison. We have two very similar battles out here on the track right now. And one running a higher downforce, one running a lower downforce. And we'll see if Kaz can make the move into turn 1. He's going to be 4 tenths behind at the start of the straight.
We know how fast that Ferrari is, and neither of them deploying any ERS, and it doesn't look like Kaz is going to get the move done. No, he doesn't, so he stays behind for another lap. Maybe he's content to just stay behind and maybe try and attack on the last lap with a bit of ERS, we'll see. Lance finally passed Stevie,
yeah.
and he moves up into P4.
Now needs to keep it for another lap, and Stevie's now has 3-second time penalty for those track limits that we have been talking about, so that will hinder his battle against Lance, and I think that means that Lance will secure P4 here, unless he gets a penalty himself, obviously, but yeah.
Spazzaman passed AJ to P10, so the comeback drive continues for the Alfa Romeo driver. A lot of overtakes happening down that back straight, such a long DRS zone, as Rob, after making that I think the second stop, is now passing Rab for 15th.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, closest battle on track, Nick Furyman and Golf Maniac. Nick is really fast, and he's all over the back of Golf on those soft tyres.
Yeah. And he's got a good run out of here then. Will he go for the move into sector 3? Surely not. He'll wait at least until the main straight.
He'll want DRS. He will know that Golf is not within the DRS range of Anchamede, and he will get the rear wing. Nick will get the rear wing open, and Golf will not. And look how close he is. He's going to pass him almost before the DRS zone here. He's 1.5 tenths. He's in the slipstream. He's going to get the DRS open. I can't see anything. There's anything Golf can do. Nick pulls to the inside, gets the move done really nicely, almost contact, but there isn't, and he makes it through.
Yeah, those soft tires now with Nick obviously having the newest tires off the field, of the top 10. They are showing through right now better than the mediums, and Kaz basically pushing Harrison through this sector too. Wow. Yeah,
it's really tight out front. This has got to be one of the closest battles for the lead we've had this season. I couldn't believe I'll be saying that, because we've had some incredible races, but it's interesting in the fact that it's two incredible drivers pushing each other really hard.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously Kaz and Harrison both very, very fast. Harrison hasn't won a race yet this season, hasn't won a race yet in FQ. He'll be looking to do that, and Kaz has the experience, and he's going for a move on. Never mind.
Thought better of it. He could have then. He had the overspeed to get alongside before the braking zone. He decided to stay behind, which is interesting. There's probably a motive behind that.
Yeah, this could be the experience talking. Harrison fighting for his first win here. I know the nerves must be high for Harrison. And Kaz is just looking to stay behind, maybe force a mistake. If not, get past on the last lap, dump all your ERS.
AJ passes Simi. Simi falls out the points, unfortunately for him, and AJ recovering after the contact with Golf. We didn't see what happened between those two, but all we know is that it ruined both their chances of a top 5. AJ back into the points though.
Yep, and the battle for 8th right now between Cole, Nick, Golf and Spazzaman still going on here. Nick has gotten past Golf now and broken DRS range, maybe. Yes.
The softs are coming alive in this last stint. Yes. The medium runners can't really compete with the softer rubber, and it does look like Spazzaman is going to get this move done, as Golf has now dropped out of the DRS of the Alpine ahead of him.
Yeah, and Kaz now definitely more than alongside, but he's lifting. He's still lifting. He wants to stay behind the Ferrari. Interesting tactics. Definitely a bit of experience playing out here for
Kaz, but then you've also got to think, if you're in Harrison's shoes, you'll feel good about your straight line speed and just defending on the last lap.
Yeah, they both have similar amounts of ERS. Obviously, Kaz won't know that, and if they both dump their ERS, I'm not convinced that the Aston Martin has enough straight line speed to get past the Ferrari on the last lap.
I don't think Harrison will be worried at all, because he will not be defending, he will not be using his ERS right now. He knows if Kaz gets past him, he'll get straight back past again in the next DRS straight, so there's no need for him to use anything to defend. As we see now, Spazzaman down the inside of Golf, and to add insult to injury, he loses a position and gets 3 seconds slapped onto the end of his race time for track limits. So not a great corner overall there for Golf, who drops to 9th.
Yeah, lap 22. We are about to start lap 22 out of 23 here, and will Kaz make the move now, or will he wait until the very, very final lap? Just have to wait and see, as he now rises up the hill behind Harrison. A few tenths between them, 2 tenths exactly. Neither deploying their ERS. They both know they want to be behind, and look at that.
Another lift from the Aston Martin. He clips the sausage curb on the inside there and has to go wide. Very lucky not to get any penalties for that, because he cut the corner and went wide. He might have got 2 warnings.
I will check right now. Harrison is only 1 warning from lap 1, and he did get a warning for that, at least 1. So now Kaz is going to be on high alert as well. Both of them on 1 warning, so they can push a little bit harder, knowing that they still have that 1 warning in their backpack to get. And Harrison's wide here.
Yeah, all over the back of Harrison, and now we have a move for 7th. Spazzaman continuing his push for damage limitation, and he's side by side currently with Nick Furyman. Although he will have to hang it round the outside. It'll be a lovely move he can make. He's off the track a little bit there as well. He's still wheel to wheel, and he's managed to go around the outside of that corner. I've never seen that before. That is an incredible move from Spazzaman, and he moves up into 7th place.
Yep, and now you can see Kaz is deploying. Now he's deploying, and now he wants to get past, but the gap is bigger than it has been on the last few laps. Harrison is deploying. Can the Aston Martin have enough straight line speed into turn 1? It doesn't look like it. It does not look like Kaz has enough straight line speed. No.
Nope. Red light flashing. We're on to the final lap of the race, and it was looking good for Harrison. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get a penalty and he keeps it clean. Doesn't allow Kaz to put an opportunistic move on him. Further down the grid, we have Nick, who's looking to repass Spazzaman, but he might do, here. He's got a lot of overspeed. He's going to look around the outside, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Golf behind. But obviously, Golf with the penalty, it won't make much difference anyway, even if he does get past.
Yeah, just focusing on the leaders for a second. It's coming to the part of the track where we know Kaz is faster. He has been throughout the whole race faster in this sector too. Can he claw back 6 tenths and make a move on Harrison, or is it gonna be a day for the Scuderia, a day for the Tifosi here in Portugal? Harrison looking like he's got it through the final few corners. Has got a little bit of a bad exit.
What a race we've been treated to from these two, and coming through the final corner, they're not going to get much DRS, so I think this is going to be it, as he round the final corner flat out in these incredible ground effect machines. And it's going to be Harrison for the first time this season, winning in the Scarlet Scuderia Red. It's a brilliant drive from both the top two, and it's a win for Harrison. It will be P3 and crucial championship points for Skip. Lance, damage limitation, P4, and Stevie will round out the top 5 with a good solid result for himself and the Alpine team in 5th place. Then we'll have
a great race.
Great race for McLaren overall. Spazzaman, Nick, Golf, Feed on his debut, knocked out of the top 10 with penalties. So AJ picks up that final point. Simi P11, Quad P12, Feed P13. And then we wait for the last 3 to come across the line. But wow, the 2 out front were unstoppable.
Absolutely. I mean, they were on another planet today, and absolutely incredible pace from the both of them. I cannot wait to talk to them in the podium interview. But yeah, great race from Skip, taking the championship fight back to Lance, and Kaz as well now, gaining points on Lance, and we might have us a 3-way championship.
Well, that would be incredible. But all we do know, this championship is going to be close. From one week to another, we do not know who's going to be fastest. And once again, we have a new winner in Division 2. Congratulations. Winning for Ferrari today. Harrison with a brilliantly controlled, measured drive, very mature, and he takes maximum points from this race. Celebrating on the podium in the Ferrari red is a very special feeling. And he takes home the winner's trophy. So, your driver of the day, please.
I must give it to Nick Fuhrman. Having that contact on lap 1, we didn't see what happened, but he was round and he was down in plumb last at one point, and to finish the race in P8, I think that's very impressive from the Irishman, but I'm gonna give it to Nick.
Okay, yeah. So I'll run you through the grid before announcing who I think driver of the day is, and then we will decide who to bring into the interviews. But it is Harrison who wins his first race. Kaz second with fastest lap, so 19 crucial championship points, followed by his two main rivals in the championship, Skip and Lance, so a good day for him. In the overall title battle, Lance not really firing on all cylinders compared to what we're used to, but I'm sure he'll be back. Great result for Stevie in P5, then it's Ange, Spazman, Nick, Golf and AJ, your point scorers today. Then it's Simi, Quad, Feed, All Day, Rob and Rab, the final finisher. Big Boris and Smaltmouth with DNFs. My driver of the day, I'm going to give it to Stevie. Because he's had a poor season. You know, he said it himself, he's not been driving to the standard he expects. But I think today, qualified 9th in a hard wet session and made his way up. Clean, no mistakes, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah, and chat if you can vote on whether Nick Fuhrman or Stevie Mac is going to be our driver of the day today. Get your votes in now when they still count.
Yes, please do, and then we will interview the one that is decided. In the meantime, though, I believe we have a national anthem to play, and because it is Harrison, it will be the British national anthem. God save the King. Do we have? Nope. Who's British?
Hold on. We definitely have British driver. Rob, Simi.
Yeah, Simi. Okay, so British national anthem. Congratulations to our race winner Harrison on yet another brilliant result. His first win of the season, and I'm sure there's more to come. And we will hear from our top 3 and our driver of the day very shortly. Who has chat decided on as driver of the day?
Nick Fuhrman.
Good choice. He did drive a good race, so we will move across now, and you can take, as you nominated him, I say you can take Nick for an interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take it away.
Hello. Another great race from our perspective, and yeah, our driver today, the Irishman Nick Fuhrman. How was that race for you? We saw a turn 1 incident for yourself that saw you in plumb last on lap 1. What quite happened there? We didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think with the turn 1, I think from my perspective, just a dive bomb, turn 1. that unfortunately hit me. Luckily, there was no damage, so it was more just a matter of just keeping my head down and then focus on the race ahead. But yeah, it was just a dive bomb, I think, from my perspective.
Yeah, you then started to fight back and ended the race in P8, I think, going long on those mediums, and then maybe hoping for a safety car at some point. But yeah, it was very good race from yourself. Qualifying was a little bit of a blip for you. P11. Was there complications there or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was feeling confident. I think as much as I could have been at the beginning. I think that last lap I did, I think the first sector was just a bit wobbly on, and yeah, messed that up. But oh well.
Yeah, congrats on the drive of today. A few more points in the championship for yourself and for Alpine. Well done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
All right then. Thanks very much, Nick, for your time, and congratulations again on getting that driver of the day. An incredible drive from yourself and good damage limitation. So, first of the podium sitters, it's second man in the championship, P3 today. It is Skip. We seem to talk to you every week, as consistent as you are. How was that race for you? You didn't seem to quite have the pace of the guys ahead, but you definitely had more pace than the guys behind.
Hi guys, I don't regret anything. I did my best. It's difficult to maintain concentration driving alone for 20 laps, but that's okay. I thank Rexler for for giving me a big end today, but I did my best. I'm very happy with P3.
Yeah, it was a good race from you. Obviously, we did see you catching the leaders at one point, but then they just seemed to get away. Was it just the fact that you maybe not as strong at this track, or were the two in front just that good?
Yeah, the two guys in front of me are unbelievable. I give my best, and I'm so happy for Harrison, a very talented driver and loyal driver, and I'm very happy with his win. So Kaz as well did a great race, but for me it's impossible to catch Harrison and Kaz.
Yeah, it was a great race from yourself. Like you said, a bit lonely, but you cannot grumble with 15 points in the bag towards the title, and obviously you finishing ahead of Lance means that you close that gap at the top. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll move with no further ado onto the first-time winner of Div 2.
Before you do that, we do have a quote from P2 man Stefano Kaz.
Oh, okay.
He says, "Congrats to Harrison. It was a mega drive. It's a reminder really on the skill level here in this league. Even when you feel blisteringly quick, the likelihood is that there is at least one more driver who feels the same. Well done to Harrison, and it was a pleasure having a clean battle for pretty much every lap." From the P2 man Stefano Kaz today. So
very well said. Yeah, and massive congratulations, of course, to him. Obviously, it's a shame he can't be here to say and speak to him, tell us himself, but that's the way it is, and he should be very proud of himself for that performance. Like he said, very clean, consistent racing. So, P1 man, for the first time, as I was saying, in Division 2, it is Harrison in Ferrari colours. That race must have been so nerve-wracking for you, constantly battling with Kaz. Talk us through what it was like in the cockpit.
Well, I would say it was quite stressful. I mean, quality was pretty crap, honestly. The weather was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a wet qualifying. You seem to deal with it quite well though, qualifying P3 if I remember rightly. But
Yeah.
did you enjoy your battle with Kaz? You were locked together for the entire race.
Yeah, well, it was fun, but it was also stressful, to be honest. It was very quick.
I can imagine that. Anything from you, Finexi, for our winner?
I mean, yeah, congratulations, Harrison. Finally getting that win, and must definitely feel good. The win your first race today, and I'm rambling because I didn't expect you to throw me the ball. So
No, I apologise putting you in the hot seat there, but yeah, I'm just gonna shadow what you said. Congratulations on the win. I'm sure you're very proud of yourself, and I'm sure with that kind of pace, we'll see you here again many more times before the season is up. So congrats.
Appreciate it.
No worries, right? And that rounds off Division 2. Another cracking race, really. These guys never fail to entertain us, and the battle for the lead was definitely the best thing today. You said congratulations on the win, so I'm very proud of myself. I'm sure that kind of pace.
okay, I will mute Harrison.
Harrison was playing the stream
started
in the
watching the
background.
stream,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, great race once again. Thank you to Finexi, as usual, for being the GOAT and keeping me honest in the commentary box. It's very much appreciated.
You do yourself, mate. Couldn't do this without you.
Well, that is it. Catch Div 1 guys in roughly 45 minutes. Same track, of course, this week, because we flipped the circuit, so the middle track is the same. So we will be racing this time, and we will hand over to the very capable hands of AJ and Simi for broadcasting that one. So until next week, it is goodbye from me and Finexi. See you next time.
Bye.